What is going on? We got another quick little Giants video here for you, and I wanted to talk about the Giants' offensive line, okay? Because they're catching a lot of heat for being terrible, and they are terrible. They're not good, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's talent, coaching, all of the above. But, watching some of the teams around the league, there's a lot of teams that don't have good offensive line play. Okay. The Chiefs don't have great offensive line play. The Steelers don't have great offensive line play. You know, the Browns arguably don't. There's a lot of teams that don't have good offensive line play. And I know the Browns is probably a bad example, but they still were able to put up 16 points. Teams can still put up points. And that doesn't mean if you have a bad offensive line, you're going to win. But you should still at least be able to put up points. And the Giants can't do anything. They can't. You barely put. I mean, we kicked one of the field goals we kicked was a 55-yard field goal, so they could barely even get that. And so, I do think the talent on the offensive line and/or coaching is lacking, and I think across the league, offensive line talent is lacking because with the popularity of the running quarterbacks in college, offensive linemen today just don't have as much talent. And so you're not getting as much talent coming into the NFL. Plus, again, a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL run, so they don't have to hold their blocks as long, be as precise. So it is harder to find offensive line talent. But that being said, like I said, there's a lot of teams around the league that don't have great offensive lines. And the teams, okay, maybe not all of them have winning records, but they are able to score points and be productive. And for some reason, the Giants can't do that. And that's why, to me, I think it's more of a coaching issue. Okay. Because how many times have we heard, when Daniel Jones was here and Saquon, right? It was like, oh, well, if they just had a better offensive line, right? Oh, if they just had a better quarterback. Oh, if they just had better receivers. Oh, if they had a better running back. It's like, can the only way any team win in the NFL is if you're the Eagles, basically, or the Lions? I mean, those are like two of the few teams that have good running back, good receivers, good quarterback, good offensive line play, you know. But there's a lot of teams out there that are winning that don't have that. Now, does that mean you're going to win a Super Bowl? No. I mean, obviously, the Eagles and our Lions have the best chance because they have that complete team. But it doesn't mean if you don't have that complete team that you can't win in the NFL. Okay? I mean, the Chiefs, went to the Super Bowl last year. I mean, arguably, they don't have a great offensive line. They don't have great receivers. I mean, really, all they have on offense is Patrick Mahomes, and they made it to the Super Bowl. And I know he can cover up a lot of holes and missing pieces on the offense, but still, there are teams out there that can win that don't have amazing weapons at every position. It's just the nature of it. There's not enough to go around for every team to have great receivers, great linemen, great quarterback, great running back. And these teams still find a way to win. And like I said, I'm not expecting to be a dominant team, but I mean 6 points, and this wouldn't be as annoying if this was the first time it happened. It's like, we were scoring a lot of points last year, and now this year we come out, score 6 points. But this has been happening for a long time with the Giants, and it's getting ridiculous now. And like I said, it can't be the offensive line. Scheme to help the offensive line. Okay, do some rollouts with Russell Wilson. Move the pocket. Do some quick, not even screen passes, but just quick slant passes to help take the pressure off the offensive line. And of course, an agile quarterback helps too, which we have in Dart, although I don't think putting Dart in, I think he'll get overwhelmed, at least in the first few games that he comes into play. But this team does nothing. Even with the running backs, John Michael Schmidt, or whatever his name is, he's not that great at center. He gets pushed back into the quarterback and into the running back all the time. Stop running the ball, kind of up the middle or, right through, kind of off tackle. Do stretch plays. Okay, do toss plays. Get the running back away from the offensive line. or at least away from the middle of the offensive line where guys can kind of pull out and do something different. They don't do anything different. They haven't for like almost the last 3 years. So I don't understand this. Every other team, they do something, it's not working, they change it, right? Oh, we want to run the ball up the middle. We can't do that. Maybe now we do more play action pass, whatever it is. The Giants just seem to want to do the same thing. It's just like they have their same game plan every week and they just go out there and try to execute it and they can't because it's not to their players' strength and they're not taking the pressure off guys. I heard somewhere that it's like the Giants coaches have an affinity for somehow highlighting their players' weaknesses versus their strengths, right? Like, for example, putting Wan'Dale Robinson, when we were down at the goal line in to catch passes. That's not his strength. His strength is not to catch passes when it's all congested. He's small. He can't go up for the ball. That doesn't help. Okay? Same thing. We want to run the ball up the middle of the line where we have the weakest players. I don't understand it. I mean, where are the plays to Neighbors? Run, what do you call it? Like sweep plays where you put them in motion. They didn't run one sweep play to Neighbors. They ran like no screen pass to him. They ran one quick slant to him that he caught, and he was pretty open when he caught it. So yes, the offensive line is a problem. Yes, you could argue that we don't have weapons everywhere on the offense, but there's a lot of teams that are like that, and they make it work. And we can't even use the excuse anymore. Well, we have no quarterbacks or anything. I mean, I don't think Russell Wilson is amazing, but he's a competent NFL quarterback, okay? He can get things done. I mean, we saw him last year with the Steelers, who arguably have less offensive talent than the Giants did. And somehow he played better. Now, they did, have a better running game, but to me, it's more of a coaching issue, okay? I mean, these players, while not amazing, they can be in the NFL. They can be serviceable. And we know that because we've seen some of these guys go to other teams and be at least serviceable from the Giants where they were terrible. So I don't think it's as much of a talent issue. This is a coaching issue because it's happened with multiple players on the offensive line. It's happened with multiple coaches. I don't know what it is, but it's a scheme and it's a scheme and coaching issue more than just the raw talent. Because, like I said, I see other teams, they don't have amazing talent everywhere, and a lot of them don't even have amazing talent on the offensive line, but their offense can function, And I don't want to hear like, oh, well, Andrew Thomas, wasn't in, and he'll really help the team. First of all, Andrew Thomas, if, a strong wind comes, he's injured. So I wouldn't put too much stock in Andrew Thomas staying healthy a whole season. Plus, he's coming back from injury. He's not going to be playing at 100%. And your entire offensive line, and better yet, an offense, shouldn't fall apart because one offensive lineman is out. Okay? If that is the issue, then you have bigger problems. If your entire offense and offensive line falls apart because one guy is out, your team is not built correctly, okay? So this talk about, when Andrew Thomas comes back, yeah, will he help? Sure. But it's not like he's going to come back in and we're going to be scoring 35 points and winning games, okay? We might get, a bit better in the run game, have, a little bit of better pass protection on the left side. He's not going to change the game that much, and he shouldn't, because if that's the case, that means you have not built a roster with any depth to it, or you have no coaching ability. I've kind of said this before. A big problem with the Giants is I feel like they bring these guys in, whether it be free agents or in the past to, rookies, and they want them to be the savior. We drafted Saquon Barkley, and we thought, oh, he's going to be the savior. He's going to revitalize the offense, right? Same thing, we draft Neighbors, and it's the same thing. And it's like, that's a lot of pressure to put on a rookie. And now it's going to be Dart, right? It's a lot of pressure to put on a rookie to just come in and be the team right from the start. And with this coaching, I get the feeling they don't even really develop the players, right? It's like these guys come in, they go, hey, we saw what you did in college. That was good. Just keep doing it here. And it's like, no, you got to develop them. You gotta make them understand how to play in the NFL. They're not finished products, but I think the Giants think a lot of these guys are finished products and they're gonna come in and save the offense, and it's not gonna happen. Okay, that's why other teams like Cooper DeJean on the Eagles, right? They didn't draft him like, yo, you're gonna be our number one corner, and you're gonna make our defense better, right? Our defense was not good. You're gonna come in here, you're gonna be the missing piece that makes it better. No, the Eagles already had a good defense. Okay, they already get to the passer. He came in to be like that slot corner kind of utility guy in the secondary, and you know what? It worked for him because between their pass rush and the rest of the defenders on the team, they threw towards him, and then of course when he got his opportunities he was able to make plays, but they didn't bring him in to be like, hey, you're going to be the savior of our defense. But I feel like with the Giants, when they draft players, right, like we drafted Abdul Carter, and yeah, he's a good player and he could become great, but he's a rookie. But I feel like the Giants are like, oh, we got Abdul Carter, he's going to save our defense, and it's like he doesn't even know what it feels like to play 17 games in a row, and you think he's going to come in and save the defense. No, he should be a complementary piece to something that you're already doing, right? So you already are having success on defense, and now he's just the icing on top that's just like, wow, he just totally shuts down quarterbacks or, or whatever. But to have him come in and be like he's going to totally reshape the way you play defense, it's not going to happen. And I think the Giants put too much stock in that. So that's my take. I think a lot of this has to do with coaching more than talent. And, we're beating a dead horse here, but we've seen this players, go on to other teams and be at least serviceable. So I don't believe that it's all talent. I think we have enough serviceable talent to score more than 6 points in a game. And I'm not saying that Joe Schoen is an amazing GM. Okay, he's not, and maybe he should go. And I'm definitely an advocate of, if Dable goes, the GM should go, and we just start over with a new GM and a new coach. And if they want to use Dart, they can. If we have a high pick and they want to draft another quarterback, they could do that too, or whatever. But they don't have to, because we could use Dart. And if we do go with another regime, we got to stop with this first time, coach, first time GM stuff. I know David Gettleman wasn't, but first time GM. But we got to stop with this. Okay, this is New York. Stop trying to think you're going to find the next McVay. You're not, okay? You need a guy who has experience, who understands how to win in the NFL. That's what we had with Tom Coughlin, okay? Tom Coughlin came from the Jaguars. They had success. They went to 2 AFC championship games, and they were like, that was the beginning of their tenure. The Jaguars were an expansion team, and Coughlin was the first coach there to help them have success. So he knew what it was to have success. He knew what it was to build a team. He was already a coach, and then you brought him in here, and he had the success he had with the Giants, though not in the beginning. Although he had more success than any of the regimes to come after him. But regardless, you got to bring in a GM and a coach that have done it before. Okay, I'm not big on these guys, but someone like a Mike McCarthy, right? Somebody who has won a Super Bowl, has had wing records in the NFL, has been a coach for multiple teams. Okay, the Giants are not good enough or savvy enough, at least right now, to find that diamond in the rough. And also, a new coach may not command the respect of the team that it needs right now. So you need somebody in there that commands the respect of the players and said, because they're like, hey guys, I've been here, I've had winning records, I've won Super Bowls or a Super Bowl, I know how to win in this league, So now, will the Giants be able to attract somebody like that? Who knows? They're not a very attractive option to go to, but that's what I think they need. I need the coaching top to bottom, the GM, everybody needs to be, changed at some point. Unless Jackson Dart comes in and he's the savior. And even then, it's like, do we feel confident? I mean, do we feel confident that even if Jackson Dart is great, do we think that Joe Schoen knows how to pick, good players for him to put around him in the future? Do we think that these coaches will be able to coach up these players and make them good guys? Because eventually Dart's going to need help, even if he is the savior. You can't do it all by yourself, as we saw from Mahomes in the Super Bowl. So you need talent around you. And are these guys to do it, even if Dart comes in and happens to, win a bunch of games and looks like they hit on him? Is this really the regime that we want to move forward with to um, develop Dart's career and to put players around him? I don't know. But anyway, that's the video. Like I said, I think this goes deeper than a talent issue, and particularly specifically on the offensive line. I think this is a coaching and organizational issue, and there's just a problem within the organization. Players don't want to play here. It's very miserable to be on the Giants. Nobody wants to be here. Nobody's putting in full effort. And how do you fix that? I don't know. A regime change may be a good start. Obviously, winning cures all, but that it's not very easy right now for the Giants to win anything other than worst team in the league. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Well, stay tuned here, and I'll catch you later.